Hello, Internet. It is I, Malik Aaron, and welcome back to Box Office Predictions. Today, we're going to be talking about Silent Night. So, as usual, we're going to be going over the pros and cons. So, let's get to it. Pros. This is directed by one John Woo. And John Woo, dude is very well known in the action genre. He's considered like one of the most influential people in the genre. I mean, he's made like plenty of movies like in Hong Kong, but he has his American movies too, his Hollywood movies, and one of them is Face Off, which has become a big old cult classic. With John Travolta and Nicolas Cage, that movie's highly reviewed. And when John Woo, like I imagine, and this, my train of thoughts going on. It's like almost 2 a.m. Please, but with this being like his first American movie, his first Hollywood movie in like 20 years, that's got to be like a mini event for his fans because it's been like so long since he's made a Hollywood movie. His last one was Paycheck, this thing, which wasn't very good. So, um, so yeah, with John Woo, like with his like legacy in action movies, yeah, I'm gonna label his presence as a pro, although there's a bit of a con to it as well, which I'll explain later. But yeah, I'd say his name is a pro for the most part, so that's pro number one. Pro number two is the fact that there's no serious direct competition this weekend. All the November movies were, well, majority of them were duds, and even the biggest ones, I wouldn't call them huge hits. And then this week, Renaissance is going after a different market. Godzilla minus one, I guess, is going after the same market, but not really. And next weekend is very dry. There's only like the boy and a Heron. Heron. I don't know how to say it. There's that, but obviously that's not direct competition for this. So yeah, there's no real direct competition out there, no serious direct competition. So I guess that's a pro. Trying to think of some other pros. I guess could I mention Joel uh Kinnaman? Might as well mention him. He's been in some movies. Some good, some not good. Like RoboCop, the 2014 reboot, and nobody wanted. There's that. The original Suicide Squad and the Suicide Squad, where he was Rick Flag. So you definitely got the best and worst of that series. But he hasn't been in too many movies, so I can't really judge him. But he is well known, mainly because of his roles in the Suicide Squad movies. So he's recognizable enough. So I guess that's a very minor pro, though. That's a minor pro. Trying to think of anything else. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay, cons. Well, John Woo, sure he's iconic, but he hasn't made an action movie in like 20 years. He's an American action movie in 20 years. And the last one he made was a dud. That was Paycheck. And he also made Mission Impossible 2, which sure was a big hit, but the thing is the movie kind of sucks. And is considered to be the worst, easily the worst movie in the whole series. So that's not great. That's not something you want on your resume. So really, like his only good movie, his only good American movie, pretty much is Face Off, a movie that's almost 30 years old. So that's not great. So yeah, the fact that it's been like, someone would argue, too long since his last American movie. Yeah, that it's kind of a con in a way. So that's a con. Another con is the reaction to the movie is way more negative than I ever thought. I mean, I thought this movie like 'cause initially like early in the week, reviews were looking really good. I was like, "Oh, okay. This might be a low-key banger," but they've dropped quite a bit after that. And it's now at 60% critic score, which is right on the line between fresh and rotten. There's like one more bad review will bring that score down to rotten. So the critic score is moderate. What's way worse is the audience score. There's no audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. It's just not there. But what is there is the cinema score. It got a C. A C. I saw that and I was like, damn, word of mouth is toxic, like real toxic, which is kind of weird. I thought this would get like a B plus at best, like an A minus or a B plus, but a C, like people really didn't like this movie. So yeah, the critics score being moderate and word of mouth being very toxic. Yeah, that's a big old con right there. I'm trying to think of another con. I guess. Well, this could either be a pro or a con, depending on how you see it. This movie, the whole gimmick around this movie, like this big selling point is that this movie has no dialogue. Like legit, there's no apparently no no dialogue. It's just pure action the whole time, and I mean it's definitely a choice, but some people might find it to be like too gimmicky. Like the fact that you have to use that to sell tickets instead of like focusing on story and characters. You just focus on nobody talks. Like that's yeah. So and the fact that there have been plenty of movies in the past that I don't know how many, but I know there have been movies in the past that have gimmicks, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. Like say A Quiet Place, the whole gimmick with that is that well, it's not like pure silence, but you have to be as quiet as possible. But but I think it worked because it's a horror movie, because of like the genre. Like for horror to be silent, like silence means survival in those type of movies, so it makes sense. I guess it works better. But for action, I don't know. I think there was like another movie. It's not really about silence, but it was very gimmicky. Hardcore Henry, where that whole movie was in like a first person perspective, like playing a first person video game. Yeah, that whole movie was like that, and people just did not click with it at all, and nobody watched it. So, and judging by what I've seen from early numbers, it feels that this is definitely going towards the hardcore Henry route. So, yeah, the fact that the whole gimmick of this movie being like there's no dialogue, I don't think it's working. I don't think it's working with the mainstream crowd. I don't think they're really falling in love with it. So yeah, the gimmick it's more of a mixed bag. I'm not gonna call it a pro or a con. And then there's also the fact that in terms of like movies, I mean Renaissance and Godzilla minus one, they're getting most of the talk, most of the attention, and this movie kind of feels like an afterthought in comparison. So yeah, that's a con. And I think that's it. So opening week, it's Thursday previews. 250K. That's just not good. That is weak as hell for a movie like this. I mean, Thanksgiving opened like four times as much, and that movie didn't exactly have the biggest advertising campaign in the world. And this is even less so. So I think it was only put on the schedule like a few months ago. Yeah, yeah, like a few months ago. So I didn't really have a whole lot of time to, set up a really compelling marketing campaign. So yeah, that's a bit of a problem. So that's a con. Um yeah, Thursday previews are a con, and I think that's it. So opening weekend, I was thinking it would hit like double digits like earlier in the week. I thought this movie could overperform a little bit. That's not happening anymore. No, no, no. Um early numbers I've seen say 2.5 million, which is just anemic. Um, I'm gonna say, you know what, screw it, 2 to 3 million opening weekend, and then it's total less than five, probably, maybe 5, 6 million, probably less than that. But I'm gonna go with 5 to 6 million total, and that's it. But honestly, I do want to see this movie because the no dialogue thing, I want to see how it plays out. Maybe I'll enjoy it more than other people, or maybe I'll hate it like everybody else. I don't know. But I actually do want to see this movie. And I'll probably talk about it when I make my recap video, so stay tuned for that, I guess. And that's it for the weekend. We're done. It's over. Not doing one on Animal, just no. So next weekend is only one movie, and that's The Boy and the Heron. Heron? The. that. That's next weekend. And then the weekend after that is just Wonka. Then the weekend after that is a bunch of Christmas movies. So yeah, the next 2 weekends having just one movie to deal with, it's gonna feel great. It's gonna feel awesome. Because I really hate talking about like 4 or 5 movies a weekend. That just kills me. So yeah. Stay tuned for those videos. But yeah, that's it. That's all. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, turn notifications, share the whole drill. We'll check out more videos like this. I got playlists on the homepage, all previous prediction videos I made this year. You want to watch any of them or any of the ones I've done the past few years, you can go right ahead. There's also the canceled series where I go over all the movies that were supposed to come out but didn't. I covered Silent Night one time. Silent Night, it was episode 208. Yes, 208. I talked about it alongside Saltburn, American Fiction, Ordinary Angels, and Dix the Musical. That's when I talked about it. The one only time I talked about it. That's when it got its release date. So yeah. And now I've made 219 episodes of Canceled. So you want to watch any of those from beginning to now, you want to binge them all from beginning to now, I highly encourage you to do that. So go do it. There's also box office recaps where I go over the box office results for a particular month. November recap will be next week. It's gonna be interesting because November was very much not good. A lot of duds, a lot of movies that definitely didn't make the money they should have. So can't wait to talk about all of that. So stay tuned for that video. And I guess the December recap, that won't be till God. I guess after Night Swim, maybe between Night Swim and The Beekeeper and the Mean Girls musical movie, probably around that time. So stay tuned for that. But if you want to watch any of the past recap videos of Man the Channel, you can go right ahead. And yeah, that's it. That's all. I am out. Goodbye.